かわいい指揮官ね。私はアタゴよ。このお姉さんがお世話してあげようかしら。
Ara-Ara indeed! Ara-Ara, my ass is blasted. What the fuck?
The Atago is the first and the oldest premium in the game. Back when matchmaking are historically accurate and people have zero regard on balancing. This ship was conceived as a replacement of what could possibly be the torpedo endgame, and even so it wasn't exactly a new ship. But it is alright. We don't want game-changing ship to proliferate. We want totally balanced ship with equal up and downs. In fact, this ship is so balanced Wargaming have 3 versions of it already, even though it has a proper sister in the other game. But who cares when people kept buying clones of existing ship? Playing the Atago involves acknowledging that it is not a DPM fanatic like Americans. Probably the main reason why it fell out of favor. It has the slowest reload of all the tier 8 cruiser after all. This demands patience and great marksmanship. That's like 10x harder than pulling a carrier slingshot. But people simply forgot the class leading HE Alpha, capable of blasting chunks of HP plus multiple fires. However, to maximize the potential of the Atago is to not sit at range and spam HE constantly. Not like it has much range to begin with, but it has one unfair advantage often overlooked by many that other cruiser doesn't get, including those at tier 10, which is the ship design itself. This is possibly the only cruiser with a freeboard lower than the average IQ of your typical weekender. And why does it matter? Because it means less hull above the waterline. Compared to something like the Cleveland, you should know where this is going. With most shells likely impacting the superstructure, not the hull, gives the Atago superior durability, since both section does not share the same HP pool. And underneath that superstructure is 40mm of armor deck, enough to bounce anything away from the vital parts. Are of course the vital parts, the people's yardstick on determining durability, even though it's no longer relevant when some other cruisers are straight up worse, like that British floating complacency. With the Atago it is predictable at the very least. Less prayers and more angling, baiting people to shoot the belt, while everything else above it simply bounce off the 35mm citadel roof. The only concern on the ship are the hilariously weak turret armor, and also the citadel bulkheads, which are directly under the front superstructure and rear turret, asking to be blasted by stray shells.
Holy fucking shit!
Now you know how to kill one. Oh, and carriers absolutely love you. But the best thing about the ship, for existing since pre-release days of the game, is having Neanderthals showing broadside and dying because of it, which gave it repair party and faster rudder shift. So let's not forget the unsung heroes who gave it the best single ship buff in the game ever. Being the most armored cruiser for its tier is nice, but how do you make it functional in current state of the game? Playing without radar, AA, lack of DPM and range. You use islands and good positioning. And no, this is not an Atlanta guide, the difference being you do not camp behind it, and also making sure you have the dumb radar skill taken. This is important. What you want to do is have the indicator facing the island as much as possible, while you close the distance, not only to reaffirm that the island is indeed blocking the enemy vision, but also providing readiness against anything approaching, bringing your guns to bear, and appropriate shells loaded, while turning the ship away, as you clear the island. This is also effective at putting destroyers at bay, and possibly ambush them, then laugh as you blast them with HE, while retreating against all the enemy who are just as surprised. Think of attacking Pearl Harbor, but this time you use napalm bombs instead like the allies always do. You then wiggle giggle your ship to avoid incoming fire, aided by the use of double rudder, to get 4 seconds rudder shift, turning it into a completely different ship. In such unconvincing way you might question if this game has any decency against physics in general. But once again, who the hell cares? It is now a pseudo-destroyer that can fight destroyer and talk like a destroyer. Why even play anything smaller? You want to be the one in charge of the flank, though your often stupid teammates might not realize it, but it is alright. You don't need to announce how much of a chad you are. Just be a decent player for once. You help your teammate by using dumb radar and detection range to guesstimate where enemy destroyers are, then pinging the map, while simultaneously doing damage and dodging incoming. because it is physically not a destroyer, so it has better chance of having people shooting at you. Hello easy citadel they say, that you can easily shrug off with the dank rudder, well, most of the time. Don't forget that it has the thinking man shell as well, for nuking clueless people that always go broadside whenever they get spotted, but you won't be, because you have the superior fake radar. And when all bets are off, just get and dive to your enemy. There is a good chance you'll pull some absurd carry, because you have completely balanced torpedo angle launching completely balanced Japanese Schlan lances. Who knows, you might successfully realize the Kante-Kessen doctrine the Japanese have been swearing about, winning the game for your often insufferable teammates, even though your spine went orbital in the process, but I suppose it's better than eating torpedoes. This is how you pat the dog. You take gun feeder, pyrotechnician, superintendent, and radio location. Then you can choose between a balanced build, or a lunatic my teammate doesn't exist one. Maybe get survivability expert if you have spare points so people think you're stupid. For the upgrades you take main armament 1, engine room protection, aiming system, and steering gears 1 and 2. For that 4 seconds rudder that doesn't went Bismarck when it gets touched inappropriately, and make sure you have hydro equipped. With this build and gameplay, you have the best do anything cruiser, with enough armor to take shots, enough concealment to dive a flank, more than enough torpedoes to deny a push, and getting away with the comically fast rudder. Perfect for dealing with this entropy of a game mode called random battle, where unexplainable nonsense occurs regularly, but only good outcome can be had using the Atago. Now go out there and see how much character development the Atago gets as the oldest premium in the game. It is the only premium you should get if you decide to spend money on this game just once and never again. Sorry for the long ass period of no uploads. Life isn't fair, and you know it, and I bite off more than I can chew in my other ongoing video which takes stupid long time to actually finish, so I switched to making a how-to of this highly requested ship instead. I will return to my regular stuff after this, and hopefully push more content you all know and love. In any case, I hope you all doing well, have a nice day, and see you on the next video.
Good